Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions, holy mighty companions, which each passing day become more precious, more honored, more appreciated, and seeing how this is the path to love, to the recognition of infinite, unchanging happiness. Can you hear us, Janet? I'm okay. It's helpful to be able to hear. So we thank you for letting us know. To have joy be not attached to anything. Just because it is. What a gift. What a gift of the Father. You know, it seems to be about the form. It seems to be like about a monastery. And I'm realizing this truly is a monastery. Like it truly is in devotion, like Jesus. Just Jesus runs this place. And it really is. Several have said, you know, I feel the same way. It's really coming here is a symbol of just saying and honoring that the world doesn't have the value that we think it does. There is a readiness. I'm seeing that in finally, even for myself, to just be able to say the world offers nothing, really. And God offers everything. And to have that happiness, that infinite happiness. And to know that if it's not here every moment, then I'm choosing something other than infinite, unchanging happiness. And that the only happiness is following Jesus 100%. That's worthiness, without exception. That's worthiness. That's following our own light by focusing on the light that we are. Are you still having a hard time with the sound, Janet? Do you need us to pause? You can reboot and come back. Let me unmute you.
I can hear you. I can hear you, but I cannot see you now.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna
come back. Well, let me come back in and see.
Okay, let's see if that works. If not, we'll come around.
Okay. Boy, my mouse isn't working very good here. I think it's my computer. This new laptop I got, I'm not very happy with it. I can't get it to even do anything right now. But I can hear you, so that's the main thing.
Okay, well, sometimes it is helpful to leave Zoom and just come back in.
Okay.
Like launch it new in the browser. That's for anyone watching this video. It's sometimes handy. It could be us, you know, sometimes we have to leave and rejoin. So
Oh, God. No, this isn't working. I don't know why this is not working.
Is it okay now? Oh, very good. Yeah, to have that voice within teach us where our value is. Yeah, you know, it's like, it seems really new and very precious. Somehow around this monastery, because even though there seems to be a lot happening, I'm like very at peace. It seems surprising because in the world, you know, with all the things, like it seems like something's not working every single day, or I'm still at peace, you know, and I'm seeing that, like when we're really following Jesus, that's what he's, because we have that relationship, and then we can just ask, okay, what about this? And within the dream, like it's, yeah, it just teaches us to value who we are. Infinite love. And that's like the only thing then. What does love say about this now? Okay. And he holds your hand and leads the way, just like he promises. You don't even, it's like, what happened? I don't know what happened. Somehow this stuff is so miraculous. We went on a miraculous shopping trip today. Yeah, we're very touched. It's very miraculous. We were led to this stone carver and bought this beautiful statue of Mary for the garden, or we're not sure where. We'll see. And I don't know, you know, you just see when you're in that expression of divinity, it's not about the thing itself, you know, it's just the reminder that it holds of devotion to God. Like things, instead of, I don't know what I was buying things for, to make myself happy as an ego, you know, to preserve a sense of personal identity. And then just to have all that washed through, have it be an expression of the whole, of service to the whole. It's just a whole different thing, isn't it? It's just happiness, but not because of the thing. It's just the happiness out of service to divine love. Like, what could be more precious than this? So, like I said, as long as Jesus says, I go until he says, looking at each of these thoughts, even if I think I cleared them, if he says to look again, I'll look again 100,000 times. Because my Lord has been denied 100,000 times. Every time I think of Peter, and Jesus told him, right, you will deny me 3 times before the cock crows. And I see that it's been 1,000,000 billion times of denying my Lord before the cock crows in the morning. And that there's nothing of greater value in this world than the happy learner. The happiest of the happy learners. You believe that you must escape from the ego. Oh, I'm seeing how that belief makes the ego real. It gives it power. That it's something we have to escape from. We have extra sound effects in the background with the horses and the mules. I don't know if you can hear them. Woo-hoo. That whole idea of escape. I just remember wanting to escape the body. That's part of the play too, isn't it? Just do anything. I want to get out of this body somehow. Like make it and then not, I don't want to get away from it. I just want to escape it. I remember thinking that. It's funny. You believe that's trying to escape the ego. Okay, I get that now, Jesus. Can only transcend it through the recognition that it does not exist. Trying to escape it makes it powerful, that there's something to escape, like we're being held bondage by something that's not here. In the light of divine being, do we have to escape anything, the divine being? Going, okay, now in order to be a divine being, you got to walk over here and, you know, pay your bail. Let's see. This divine being, it just is, you know, it's not asking for anything. It just is. You desire an experience of attempting to escape the ego while denying you miscreated it. I think Renee was saying too, today or yesterday, I don't know when, you just know it's helpful when someone says something or who said it, you know, you just start paying really close attention. Every time one of your brother opens their mouth, you just, ta-da. I know there's something here for me. I'm just ready for it. But anyway, oh my gosh, I almost forgot what you said now. It was something really good and profound and helpful. And then it just... it'll come to me. But yeah, you just start knowing, like, oh yes, it's for me. Oh my gosh, I know. I need to hear this learning, whatever my brother's going to say next, you know. Yeah, we can't escape that. We can only transcend it by seeing its untruth, that it has no, they're only self-imposed chains. We locked ourselves in a chain, you know, and I, like part of the coaching thing, you talk of the story, all for me. At the time it was for everyone else, but now I get it's for me, you know, but they would tell the story of an elephant. I don't know if you ever heard this, that when they chain an elephant, like he's a really strong elephant, and they put the chain around his leg and they tie it to something really big, and he pulls and he pulls and he can't pull it out. And eventually all they need is a stake in the ground. A little teeny tiny, this big, strong, mighty elephant. Have you heard this? And, I haven't heard this and that could be a lie. I have no idea. That's a story that we told in the coaching circles, you know, about conditioning and how you get so conditioned. The elephant was so conditioned that then in the circus, you know, you'd walk through the circus and you see just a little tiny post holding the elephant because of conditioning, like the belief that the elephant can't get away. So therefore, once you have that, he has that belief, he's chained. And you start to see that's how belief works. We believe we're chained. We like the experience, but we're saying we don't really like it. We made it up so we can experience. And then we could say we really don't like it to try to project it out that we created it. And does divine light see any imprisonment whatsoever? Like, and but it's funny, I just asked the divine light. It's so true. It's so on. You know, the divine light just is direct. It doesn't tell different beings something different. It's always the same, the consistency. It's such a great lesson in mind training to go to the light and ask the light directly, does divine being know this? Divine being, it was such a good lesson because I don't know how this happened in consciousness. Obviously, I wanted this experience because that's what showed up in the parable. That first time in the prison, this was before Jesus came and kind of showed the light thing. And this big guy comes in. He like filled up the doorway. I was like, okay, a little coaching session here. And I said, well, what would you like to cover in this coaching session? And he said, well, I want to be a good man. And I said, well, honey, that sounds like a really good thing. You know, what would you like to work on today in this session? And so he said, I can't remember what he started with, but it was basically, he started and was ending with something like, and I threw someone down the stairs because they hurt somebody that I cared about. And then I got upset and I'm going to go out to my car and get a gun. It was kind of really escalating, which was a good lesson for me, not to judge anything. All for me to judge any kind of, all that was happening in form. And so I don't know where this came from. This can only be the spirit. Only the spirit can come through with this kind of thing. And I heard, and I asked him, I said, well, he says, I need to protect. I really need to protect. And I said, well, what does God say? When you go in there and ask God about this, what does God say about this? Now, where does that come from? Where's that coming from? That's like, I wasn't even looking for God in prison, but somehow it's coming through and really start listening. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, what if God tells him the wrong thing? I mean, I'm thinking that to myself, holy shit, what have I just said? And I'm telling you, that God thing works. It just works. This light and divine thing, it was such a good lesson for me because while I'm going, holy shit, you could see where my beliefs were about God right about then. He gets a tear in his eye. I was like, I mean, it really was another one of those 30-second things. Was the spirit trying to tell me something or what? 30 seconds. And he goes, yeah, I can see that this is not protection. If I continue this, it's not helpful. This is like all for me, showing me how quick the correction is, how anyone can hear God. Anyone can hear God and speak God. He was speaking God. It was like all of a sudden, it was like, I don't know, you could hear the angels singing when he was talking. And yeah, it just feels like it's time to drop all the doubt thoughts that we can hear God. That God does speak. And every single being who walks this earth. It was such good mind training for that, to see it. And to really follow what you're hearing and go ahead and deliver it out. I'm getting that in spades from Jesus lately. And I see how helpful it is. Like not have a single idea about, because I could see that that's a little bit of sideways, when he'd tell me, and we were talking about it today, I think too, you're, I think Anya was talking, it's so helpful. Be reminded by your mighties, like, don't waffle in it. If he says deliver something, you get your little self over there, you deliver it. Right? And that's what you see. You get your little self. But it gets less and less where, kind of the smoke and mirror shows up around things, all the little dabbling, it just gets more. And I'm seeing it's for me, the nice one or whatever, like remnants of the one he, tried to negotiate a way around a conversation or go, that kind of thing. It's for me, to just divine beings like waffling is the light waffling going, thinking about consequences and the light of divine being and any consequences in them, but yet in the play of consciousness, we seem to play whinging, that kind of, I don't know, duck and tackle thing with ourselves. I don't know what that is. It's like Anya said today too. It's like, it is divinity. It's still divinity expressing however it looks. We can never be satisfied with that. That's being satisfied with less than divine, pure. If Jesus is delivering it to us straight, that's the model that we deliver it. That's how divine expression looks. That was for me. And I'm seeing there's a belief in this world about what love looks like. Love is love, like love doesn't piss anybody off. The only one that the whole functioning within consciousness of the egoic consciousness is to get pissed off and deny love. And then it just seems like the spirit uses the body. You don't know how it uses the body, but when you're listening, it just seems like for some reason, it just knows where to put the body for true usefulness in the world. I don't even know how that happens. And it's so much happiness. And I think that's the only way we can be happy, really, to be used in that way by the Holy Spirit. I'm seeing that because you desire an experience of attempting to escape the ego while denying you miscreate it. You desire the experience of an ego, Satan. Is there a desire for that any longer below my level of awareness? An experience of doing battle with it, attempt to win salvation. Is there any desire for an experience of doing battle with the ego to attempt to win salvation? Does divine light know what a battle is? Yet even when we know there's no battle, there's still that little itch to play the game of battle, the tinker toys that Jesus talks about. To deny ourselves all that we are until we're tired of it. That's where the blessing of this holy circle for all the ones that are weary, all the seeming reflections in form that seem weary can just rest their heads on this, at the light. This is where Jesus has called us to rest. It's who we are. Rest is the divine light. And no longer engage in anything other than light. Just be the light. Engage in no thought, feeling, or emotion. Let's just check in. It feels good. You want to believe you are separate. You desire an experience of feeling you are separate. Is there any desire anymore to feel separate? Is there any feeling, any itch for autonomy, the autonomy itch, to be autonomous from God, autonomous from the Father? I'm willing to see it. That comes up a lot in a community. The idea, the autonomy certainly came up. Because it seems like, especially with the, David would talk about that lead follow, and how you seem to follow someone, and then I had to finally admit how really helpful that is, especially when Jesus is telling me directly that it is. Because it seems to be that someone is telling you to do something. And boy, I can just see how the energetic investment that someone's telling you to do something, any kind of resistance to that is resisting to yourself. And how helpful that is, because it immediately brings into mind very quickly all the places where we're resisting ourselves. It's a complete collapse of the timeline. Because we can see where there's one speck of energy invested in saying no to ourselves through that seeming, because we're only here. Does divine light see anybody leading or following? Looks around. Just, is there anyone leading or following? Like, it's like the divine light has no interest in anything leading or follow, because it's just in, and to lead or follow would be to deny everything that's here. It's that humbleness of the following, in the symbol of the form of a brother, or this humility of the joining with a brother. It's like an acknowledgement that we really don't know everything. It's complete dissolution of autonomy. The idea of autonomy, the investment that there's something that we can be autonomous from. Can we be autonomous from the light? Does the light doesn't know about lead or follow, knows nothing about it. Like, no. But within the play of consciousness, playing as though there's a leader and a follower, or a teacher and a student. Like, it's death. I mean, it can be helpful. It's a helpful symbol, because the student teacher, I'm seeing that student teacher relationship with the brother, and let my brothers be my teacher, invite them in to everything they're saying, just like absorb it. And also that teacher-student relationship with the divine light, with Jesus, is so patently helpful. Just, it's like that Zen master story where this guy goes to see the Zen master and starts telling him all, I think it's a Zen master, and he's sitting down with him and he tells him everything about himself and why he wants to come into the community. And the Zen master starts pouring, I'm probably just totally discombobulating this, but it'll work. So, and then he pours the liquid into the cup, and he keeps pouring and pouring and pouring, and the cup's overflowing, and the guy's going, well, but you're not listening, and how, and he keeps pouring, and it's over full. And finally, the master just said, sometimes when your cup's already full, you've already can't learn anything, because you already filled your cup with so many ideas. And that's what we do. We fill our cup with so many ideas about who we are and what's true. And so we need that teacher-student relationship with seemingly, it could seem like a brother, just to see that nothing's happening. Or in the student teacher with Jesus, so that true humility, like of really not knowing and being that happiness as a happy learner. I see how valuable that is, and it's off the rails of that happy learner, like everything he's promises, by just to wash out every idea that there is a person, or that there's someone who's student who can teach, or a teacher who can learn and a student who can teach. Because a teacher of God, a true teacher of God, knows there are no students nor teachers. There are no students or teachers, or no one who's autonomous. They just know what is. You believe that strife is possible. Thus, you desire to miscreate an experience of feeling strife. Any energy around that I need to see? You believe it is possible to attack God. You desire an experience of attacking God, feeling attack in yourself. Is there any desire to feel attack in myself? You ever notice how much we really like those little Star Wars? You know, they pull out their little sabers and go, vroom, whoosh. We love that. Really, come on. Don't we just love watching those little lightsabers go? Jesus is saying, you know, there's no harm in that playfulness. Don't mistake it for who we are or deny ourselves in that play of taking out the lightsabers. And don't forget, and it's just saying, know who you are, making no mistake about who we are. And don't get involved in the play. Does the divine light get involved in this play at all? Doesn't get involved at all. You desire an experience of attacking God, which means we desire an experience of feeling attacked because we are the being synonymous with God. Is the light synonymous with God? And here the answer. Thus you desire an experience of feeling attacked since you are synonymous with God. That just feels like the only way out, to admit that we really, really like these emotions. We really, really like to feel mad. We really, really like to, yeah, he's reminded me. That's been my lesson. Just keeps reminding me about everything. I am responsible for everything I see, everything I see. You know, I'm forgetting the words. That's really good. But I'm seeing everything that I've wished for, essentially. Everything before me. I can only appear before me by my desire for it. That admission is true happiness. Infinite, unending happiness. Because then the power to dispel it is immediate. Immediately. It's no longer in a play in delusion land. We start to catch the wake-up call instead of just being cow-tipped or tipped over because we're sleeping. We start to catch it, catch our own investment in the delusion and withdraw our investment in what's not true. I love that. Muji says, see who's given the power to it and how that is the ultimate solution to what never happened, is to see that we give the power away to our own unhappiness, to have an experience of unhappiness, sadness, fear, an attacking ourselves. You believe God will retaliate against you. The desire for an experience of being retaliated against by God. Is there anything there, Jesus? It's just such a relief. It's a relief whether he says yes or no. It's a relief. It's like, thank you, Jesus, for showing me this. That's the way it feels here. because we've gone through these several times. And I, like, again, I was just so surprised because even though I've been through them several times with them, you know, I could see he was bringing deeper and deeper. It seems like deeper and deeper. I guess it's what the mind is ready to look at in that moment. But just to take each of these to the light of truth, what a gift. You desire an experience in which you feel you can think apart from God. Is there any desire for this below my level of awareness, to think apart from the Father, to think the unholy and believe the unholy about myself? Is there any desire to think the unholy about a brother? I'm willing to see it. And desire an experience of thinking unholy thoughts about my brother, which is about God, which is about myself, like they can't be unlinked. I desire, I really, yeah, I want to see them all as indivisible. Yeah, I can just hear Jesus saying, see that you're the one who placed the stake around the elephant's leg, and that you have the ultimate power just to reach over and pull it up. In this world, it would be, what happened to me? What's happening to me? Who's doing that? Who put the stake in? Why is the stake in the ground? Why can't I be free? Who did this to me? This is an injustice. We're going to start a whole new society to prevent elephants from being staked to the ground. That's the play in the world. And the elephant recognizes he is mighty, and he reaches his trunk around and says, we're free. In the divine light of being, are we free? Does the divine light know what's bound in any way, shape, or form? Can it find something that's being held against its will? Can it find anything that needs to move, change? It's like everything seen as a standard as the light, what the light knows. Infinite, unchanging peace, infinite joy, unchanging joy. And anything else other than that, is anything else other than those things true in our direct experience? Thank you, Jesus. I just had a thought, you know, I love the way Jesus just reminds us, you know, every now and then, like, there's like a little idea, my God, this is so much happiness to say that something's really hard about the spiritual journey. Oh, this was a really hard journey. And Jesus just reminded all it is a mistaken identity. Only mistaken identity is hard. We can see that the light's not, doesn't know what hard is or difficult. Yeah, it feels like we're going to take a little intermission here for a little while. And then once again, Jesus saying those speed ups are the movies. So I'm going with it. I feel it. So we'll just reconvene around 8 o'clock. I don't know. Do you care to join us for one, Janet? You can't, you have other things. Okay. But you're always it just feels like when the invitation comes in, we'll ask the mighties if you want to join. Okay. We love you.